Hello everyone, welcome to the course on Artificial Intelligence in Industrial and Management Engineering. Till now we have covered machine learning basics in the course, then we talked about natural language processing. Afterwards we have touched upon the concept of scheduling in industrial engineering. In the last week of this course we will try to cover the facility layouts problem in industrial engineering, and we will also cover meta heuristics like genetic algorithm. So, in any of the manufacturing or industrial facility, we have different kinds of systems, machines, workstations which needs to be placed somewhere in the allocated space. So, this facility layout problems talks about what are the different kinds of space allocations that we can provide to different machines or work centers, so that the usage of space is efficient. So, let us start talking about what is a facility layout problem. So, facility layout problem deals with the optimal arrangement departments, workstations, or equipment. Okay. Now, if your space allocation is efficient, then your efficient layout improves the flow of your material, people, or information. So, let us say in a particular manufacturing setting, in a workshop, you have different kinds of machines, and to complete a particular job you need to move some kind of material, some people gets involved, that needs to be travel from one part of the workshop to the another part, or some kind of information will travel between these places. So, your efficient layout of a facility will improve these three different things like material, people, and information. Okay. Now, the goal of the facility layout is efficient usage of space and labor. Then eliminate redundant movements. Or reduce or remove bottlenecks. Include safety and security measures. We can also improve maintenance activities by improving our facility layout, or we can increase capacity. Let's say some space is redundant in your facility layout, so by efficiently using your space you can increase the capacity of your workspace. Now, there are two different kinds of layouts. The first are basic layouts, and the second are hybrid layouts. The first basic layout is process layout. Second is product layout, and the third one is fixed position layout. Your hybrid layout contains cellular layout, flexible manufacturing systems, mixed model, assembly lines. Today we will talk about these three basic layouts, and we will understand how we are trying to utilize our space in a way so that whatever the process you are trying to accomplish in your facility layout gets improved. So now what is process layout? Process layout, we have already talked about job shop machining and other activities in previous classes during the topic of scheduling, right. So in those flexible job shop machining processes, what you were aiming to do was to prepare customized products for the delivery. So whatever your product was, you have to focus on your processes that you need to conduct, right. So process layout helps in developing those kinds of systems. So the aim of the process layout is to, it aims at grouping similar activities together. Okay. And how do we group this? We group this based on the functions that needs to be performed. Okay. This layout is also known as functional layout. Now let's talk about an example of a machine shop. So we can arrange our drills together in a section. So let's say it is a drill section where only drill machines are available. Then you can create a lathe section, and let's say you are creating a milling section, right. So these three different kinds of operations by their respective machines can be placed in their own working centers. The layout can accommodate. So this is useful when customers require customized products. Okay. This process layout is useful when we are delivering customized products. So what we are doing is, we don't actually know, let's say product A comes, that's need to be delivered at some point of time, and product B is also required to be developed in the same workshop. Now the steps to develop product A be like it needs to do drill first, then lathe, then milling. However, for developing product B, this could be something like milling, then lathe, then drill. So, you cannot generalize the sequencing of your processes that needs to be required. So, what you do is you try to create your facility space in such a way that you create different sections, right, in your facility space, and in those sections you need to go from one department to another department and then go to next department, so that your final product goes through each section that needs to be required for developing that final product. Okay. So, in these kinds of system the order volume is very low because you are developing customized products. So, the volume is not that high. Okay. And operation sequence, to complete job may vary considerably. Equipments in this layout is general purpose. Okay. Because you don't know what is actually required for your product, so you buy or you maintain such kind of general purpose machines that can accomplish various tasks. Okay. Also, process layout provides flexibility and inefficiency. So, these kinds of layouts are flexible, but the disadvantage is they are inefficient because the travel between different departments is quite high. Now, what are the other inefficiencies in this layout? So, the first could be no order of job flow. Frequent backtracking. So, backtracking is a process where again you repeat the same process what you have already performed after completing that process and other different processes. So, you take your part and go back to the same section again, right. Then queues generally developed these kinds of layout. Setup times are high because your product is customized. So, the setup time for a particular machine, let us say drill or milling machine, for that particular product is high. The work in process inventory is large. Okay. But finished good inventory is low. Why this is low? Because as soon as your final products get developed, it is ready to ship. So, final products ships readily to the customer. And the last inefficiency or the cause of this inefficiency is the location of the individual department is an issue. So we can also visualize this with a sample space layout. So let's say this is your space and you divide 3 different sections into lathe, then your milling department, then your this is lathe, this is milling, this is drilling, this is grinding, finally this is your paint shop, and this is shipping. And here goes your assembly. So if you have few machines placed in your lathe section and this is the milling environment where you have 4 machines, then you are drilling, okay, after that grinding, paint shop, and here you have 2-3 terminals. So maybe we can talk about a product A, and you need to perform lathe operations, then your grinding operations, then milling, then paint, right? So what you do is you assign one of the machine from here and you start with A, you initiate here and then go towards a grinding machine. After that you need to create a milling operation, right? And then you're drilling, finally it's the painting job, and afterwards assembly will go through all of these terminals and then you ship your product. So this is only for product A. Product B could be very different from what are the precedence constraints for product A, right? So when you have, let's say, 5 jobs that you need to conduct and you are doing it in this workshop, so you need to first find what are the flow of your complete product, and then you also need to assign the machines, whether there are available machines or not, and which machine can perform the job better, right? So these are the different kinds of decisions that you need to make while utilizing your process layout, and you can easily see here that since the flow of a particular product is not well defined, that is why we can provide these kind of solutions to only for the customized products. Now the next is the product layout. So this layout arranges all the activities in a sequence or line based on the operation sequence. Okay. So this is also popularly known as assembly line. So what happens is in these kind of layouts, every product has their own assembly line, right? And work flows in a fixed order. These kind of layouts are suitable for mass productions. And we can easily state that product layouts are more automated than process layouts. Okay. Decision makers choose this layout for efficiency and ease of use. But the disadvantage is inflexibility of the product. So what does this mean is, you cannot change the properties or characteristics of the product in an assembly line easily. Whatever the sequence of operations, whatever the sequence of these operations that are predefined for developing a particular product stays the same until unless you try to tweak your assembly line with different kinds of machines and something like that, but it is costly. So that is why the disadvantage of this product layout system is this inflexibility, but it is very highly suitable for mass production. So if you need to lower your production cost, you should go for product layout. Now to compare between product layouts and process layouts, what we can discuss this with a simple example. Let's say there are two different mobile manufacturers, one is A and other is B, right? Now they both have their own assembly line for developing their products, but what if they want to outsource this production of mobile phones to a different manufacturer? Now to the manufacturer that can be, let's say C, needs to needs to manufacture these two different mobile phones. They need to cater to the needs of both the designers of the mobile for product A and product B, right. So they need to have different kinds of machines, they need to have different kinds of sequences that they need to follow to create these different mobile phones in the same factory. So if they, both of these organizations that are developing product A and product B decides to manufacture them with the manufacturer C, then the manufacturer C should have a process layout so that they can cater to the needs for both the organizations. Otherwise, then the manufacturer C have to develop two different assembly lines. So whatever is suits best for the manufacturer C, they need to do that. Now the third is fixed position layout. These kinds of layouts are for the products that are either bulky or too fragile. So examples could be ships, aircrafts, or houses. Okay, and equipments, workers or materials move around the product. So, while developing a ship or an aircraft, you don't usually provide an assembly line or a process layout. Wherever we are developing these kind of machines, the equipments or the workers or the materials move around them to develop them completely at a fixed position, right. So, this is the third kind of basic layouts that are available. Now, let us talk about how to design a process layout. So, the aim here is to minimize the movement or material handling cost. Now, material handling cost is the product of material moved and the distance that this material has moved. Okay. So, the thumb rule here is that the inter department movement should be less. That is, allocate space to the highly traveled locations nearby. So, whatever the space allocations you are performing for designing your process layouts, those departments that have high inter-department movement, they should be closer than other departments, right. So, let us stop here and we will continue designing our process layout in the next lecture. Thank you.